I looked up the pinouts on the MRO. It's a X 2.1 autopilot and compared it to the remote ID module. Wow, I called it the right thing for a change. Right here's the telemetry port it's hooked to on the flight controller. It's right here. And pin 1 is 5 volts. That's what the 6-pin connector on the remote ID module wants. It wants voltage on pin 1. Pin 2 is transmit. That's going to receive on the module, which is correct. Pin 3 is receive, going to transmit. That's correct. Pin 4 is clear to send. It's going to request to send on the module. That's correct. Request to send on pin 5, going to clear to send on pin 5 on the module. That's correct. And ground on the end. Now, I have no earthly idea why it's not working. The module's powered up. The flight controller's powered up. It gets GPS lock, but the GPS information's just not passing. I just went and looked at this diagram rather than actually wringing out the cable. And as far as pass through on the side where the telemetry radio goes, which they call the forwarding port, it would be the same. Going out this cable would be VCC TX RX, the opposite of this, because you're trying to pass this. It should be the same as this right here, over here, and it is. VCC TX RX, clear to send, request to send, and ground. So I also don't know why that radio in the Nano Talon is not working when I just connect this in line with the telemetry channel that's been there and does work without this module in line. So much fun we're having here. I really do hate that there was a call for remote ID videos. Right in the middle of the remote ID videos I was doing on this particular module to try to get it set up on my own so I could make my own decision if I could use this $149 module in all my platforms, and it worked. Even though the range might not be workable, I could at least tell the police or forestry individuals, park rangers, etc., etc. There it is, and it's working. You can see it working right here on my phone. Because I think that's what all this is going to boil down to. I think it's going to boil down to rogue cops and rogue park rangers. The ones that just hate drones, no matter what the FAA says, no matter what their boss says, are just going to hassle drone pilots like they have been for years. So I'm going to keep chasing this. I'll show you a little bit about the software on the drone tag DRI module. There's not much to it. I cannot for the life of me yet see why it doesn't just plug and play. But I'll keep you abreast of what's going on. Again, just trying to make our remote ID videos for Bruce's algorithm more than anything here. Well, the fact that my remote ID module how-to videos were already in the works before this call to arms came about. It's kind of stepping on my how-to remote ID module videos that I was already doing. I'm still glad I'm participating in Bruce's algorithm because I like the man. I have for years. I'm one of the few people that would sit and watch his hour-long whiteboard videos where he was telling out how a radio transmitter worked. I already knew from my training how they worked, but I don't know. He just has a style and a humor that I like. Always have. Been watching him for 10 years or more. I'll be glad when all this is over and he gets back to some more technical type stuff. I do watch the flying field when they fly, but I do miss Bruce's tech talks. They were pretty in-depth. I really like them. And again, I really want his ADSB alarm just because I want to keep myself and my fellow pilots safe. So, always going to be a little ranting here in all these, but I'm going to continue with my personal, this is how you would do remote ID with drone tag DRI module if you want to. More and more I'm beginning to think I'm not going to. The ankle bracelet thing, where this is basically an ankle bracelet before we're even charged with something, has changed my mind somewhat. I still think it's the way we're going to be able to fly beyond visual line of sight in the eyes of the FAA and why they're doing it, but more and more the pain in the butt to get this thing up and running is turning me more and more sour on this whole idea. The price is good at $49. It is what the FAA said they would cost, but so far I see no earthly reason why this thing wouldn't plug right into the Nano Talon, come up working, and pass the telemetry on to the telemetry radio that's already in there. I'm just going to have to keep digging deeper, deeper, and deeper. And I am being a little lazy looking at these pinouts on these data sheets rather than taking out the old ohm meter, multimeter, and ringing out the cable myself, or just making up a new one. I've got the Justy GH pins and connectors here. I can make up as many and as crazy a custom cable as I want easily. I've been doing it for 50 years. All right, I'm going to get back to banging my head against the wall on this junk. Thanks, guys.